We are live. I am going to open a million of these I2C backpacks and OLED displays and then solder them together. Um, and make a mess. These go like this. All 16 pins should slide through. Come on. Just what I need is bent backpack pins. Yep, and that's what is happening. However, we can back in here. Yeah. This is going to be painful. Okay, there's one. Ha. And let's go to camera 5. To them around this way so they're easier to solder. Maybe I will do them in batches of 10. Oh boy. Okay. So there's a lot of bubble wrap to be opened here. Anti-static bags. Okay. Like that these come pre-jumpered for the backlight. Save me a few seconds a piece. On the scale of hundreds of things, even opening packaging is time consuming. And my laser just beeped, so I'm going to take a minute and restart the laser. Let's see. We'll be right back, folks. It says restarting printers, but I am restarting lasers. Be back in a minute. Okay, and we're back. The laser should go for another, 33.5 minutes. Maybe by then I will have opened all these I2C modules. These are the modules that allows the microcontroller on the Mongoose to talk to the OLED screen with 2 communication pins and 2 power pins rather than 16 parallel pins. Saves a lot of soldering time and programming. If, in fact, these backpacks had come pre-soldered to the OLED screens, and so I'm going to do a bunch of hours of, again, module pre-assembly. If anybody wants to come chat, where is my link? Let's add a link here. Text. Come chat me. Here we go. Okay. And let's make that reasonable size. There we go. And double screen madness, says Nick. Yes. Okay, so that is live. And then I go to soldering stream 4. I can add this link here too. I should have duplicated it earlier. There we go. Okay. And I'll resize this one too for later. There we go. Okay. And let's look at me for a minute while I open these packages. Exciting day. It's like Christmas, Hanukkah morning. Actually had these in for almost a month now. I've been working on other things that have soldered them the day they came in, but more pressing things to do. Okay. Here's a bunch of backpacks. Now let's open a bunch of screens. I'll fill the damn ocean with bubble wrap. Could pay a kid just to open these things and let me do the soldering. Maybe open them and place them together as a unit. Over. I promise this stream is going to be interesting for about 1 minute while I do some soldering, and then it will be quite repetitive. Should not have plugged in my soldering iron just yet. Fine. They can't possibly do this in electronics factories. I've actually seen the inside of the Fuji, Nikon, and Canon factory just on YouTube. I wish I would go in person one day, but they have all of these assembly trays, and each assembler gets a tray of all the pieces they need in order, lined up in the correct orientation, and they can just do one task. I don't think there's unboxing necessarily at the assembly stations on the production floor of most factories, but you never know. I'm sure there are other people in other places assembling. When I worked for American Apparel, there were assembly and production groups, and there were runners for those groups that would run raw materials, needles, thread, broken sewing machines, cut patterns, anything that those team needed. They had to run around the factory, make sure that they had everything they needed to keep going. So the people actually doing the production never had to stop doing what they were doing. It was very smart and efficient. I always liked that. I'm not doing that today. Okay, so let's see. One backpack. See if I can line them all up in a way that will make sense to solder them quickly later on. Oh yeah, these bent pins here and there are really gonna slow me down. These things probably got pretty jostled crossing the entire globe to get to me. Okay, not the worst thing in the world. Do these in little batches just for desk space. Maybe 4 to 6 batches, something like that. These go end to end. Maybe I can do 2 or 3 in a row without moving a piece. Not going to work. Feel okay about this. I have all the printers running and the laser running, making 2 different things while I make this other thing. I'm triple tasking right now. Okay. Two, 4, 6, 8. Let's get 10 in a row, make it easy to count. Base 10 system. 9. Come on. 10. How many of these do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's 24. That is nowhere near the amount that I ordered. I need to check in on that. Haha. Geez. Enough to make a few batches. I assumed that I got all of the modules here. Clearly did not. Unless I have a hiding box, but I don't think so. Remember just logging this one box in. Note to self, count all of the pieces when they come in. I have waited too long and just lost $100 of, what do you call it? OLED screens. Very annoying. And let me check to see if I have another box of these. Is incredibly frustrating. Do not have an extra box of these. I'm gonna have to do some waiting on these components. Do some complaining that like half my order came. Still, I think this is enough for the first 2 batches of mongooses, at least. It's 30. Oh, let's do 31 to start. Okay. And we'll switch to that camera. Maybe we can zoom in here. Do some real boop, 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 right to the edge of digital digital zoom. All right. Now maybe the orientation is better in the vertical. Yeah. Okay. See how good my soldering skill is. So far, so bad. Maybe these are better this way if I approach with the iron from the other side. Let's see. Yeah, that's going to work a lot better. Okay. These pins are set up. It actually takes quite a bit of solder to fill the joint, which is medium time consuming. Can you see this? Yeah, maybe let's go to digital zoom now. Okay, where is the camera pointing? Here. Let's see. Yep. Everything's reversed. Okay, let's see what we can see here. Welcome to the hottest ASMR soldering channel on Twitch. You're soldering with Ethan. If we have any callers, I'll put you on the screen. That's one. Really need a micro camera attached to my soldering iron for first person solderer view of such things. That was D2. This is D1. Now here's D0. Now here's E. Then RW. Almost out of bridge there. RS, RV0, VDD, and VSS. There we go. 2. Now we've got K, A, D7. D7 could use a little more. D6, D5, D4. Nope, that's a bridge. Ah, it's getting quick. Getting sloppy. It's trying to preheat the what was I trying to do? Preheat the next pin with the heel of the chisel tip. That did not work nearly as I had hoped. Okay, back to D3, D2, D1, D0, E, RW, RS, V0, VDD, and VSS. And we got 3 done. Okay. To the next. This isn't going to be so bad. Kind of like soldering like this. Maybe not this many joints, but 30 is the optimal number of soldering joints to make, in my opinion. Let's see, I'm going to try and do, I think I have 50 here, which is half of what I ordered. Oops. 50 times 10 is 500, plus 250 is 750, plus another 50 is 800 solder joints for the day. Definitely more pleasurable than crimping, even when I mess up and make a little bridge there. Hopefully won't have to get out the solder sucker at any point today, which is, for those of you uninitiated, basically a blackhead remover, but for hot solder. I prefer it to the braided cord. Some people like braided copper. Each has its place, I guess. Oop. That one fell out. This is my soldering show. It's where I melt lots of metal into other pieces of metal so they can be connected electrically and mechanically. Nope. But hopefully not to each other, like in the case of that bridge. There we go. There's another bridge. Five down, that's 10%. Here's some scratchy tip wiping. You guys like that? Yeah. Okay. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, that's 6. Wonder who invented the soldering iron. Wonder if they were trying to invent a wand to toast bread. Realized they could melt soft metals. I was thinking for a second whether I would rather just have a toaster or a soldering iron. I was thinking to myself for a minute, I'd rather have a toaster. However, in real life, I do not own a toaster, and I do own like 5 or 6 soldering irons. Turn the heat up a little. Thought I had it all the way up. Gotta move this. Okay. That's a little quicker. I just remembered that I have to adjust the contrast on all of these screens, after which I will have to put a drop of hot melt glue on them so nobody will tamper with the screen contrast, nor will it shake around in shipping, but it could be peeled off if any repairs need to be done. I believe that's on this unit. Probably on the backpack, yeah. It adjusts VSS or VDD, V0. It's a reference voltage for the brightness and contrast of this OLED display. Looks good. No. So the solder builds up on the tip of the iron, which is nice because it more quickly heats and wicks to the pin in the pad. However, at a certain point, it builds enough that it will start bridging to nearby pins, which does not speed me up whatsoever. Trying to let it build up to a point and then change my soldering technique such that it wipes off as much as it builds up in each pin's worth of soldering. Let's go. Oh, there we go. I consider rosin core solder to be a miracle of modern technology. Real pleasant. And have flux everywhere. Although I do kind of like the smell of flux, I am sure it's not great for me. Not that I'm not getting flux in the core of this wire, but, uh, you know, a little bit less, a little more precise. And I don't have to clean the parts afterwards. That I like. Here at Cameradactyl Cameras, we artisanally manufacture every component of your electronics. Fair trade and medium for the environment. Environmentally medium. I'm going to scratch my face while I'm holding this soldering iron. Maybe not the safest. Too bad. Try not to burn the screen cover. I like to leave those on if I can before I ship them. Jeff, come on. Maybe this would be a more fun thing with a microscope. I don't think I need to go that far. Zoom out a little. Okay. I am probably going to need to order some more solder. Luckily, that comes from a close by warehouse. Does not take very long. And my laser just beeped, so I'm going to change the laser. I will be back. Oh, let's add this thing. Text. After these messages. We'll be right back. Okay, and we're back. This highly exciting stream of me soldering things. Let's put a Sharpie mark where the screen is. This corner and there. Okay. Try and solder inside the marks. Anybody wants to come chat, I'll put you up in the corner of the screen. We can talk while I'm doing this. This is a 10% of my brain type of activity. My brain is enormous. Clearly not. If it was, maybe I would have just paid somebody to do this. Wondering if I ordered 140 pieces, but they counted pieces as one OLED screen and one backpack, and they were twice the price I estimated. Still inexpensive, but I don't know where all these things are. I gotta see if I have more backpacks than uh, OLED screens, which it certainly looks like. Doesn't seem right to me. Maybe it came in 2 boxes and one box was lost. I have been keeping a list of everything that has come in for the mongoose. Checked this off long ago. I got a huge box of screens. I should have taken them out and counted them individually. Are we having fun yet, folks? Here's a happy little bead of solder. I think the main control board will be much more interesting to watch. So there's a lot of different components on it, but primarily it's just going to be doing this for a few days. It'll feel good though. Getting a lot of stuff done. Ooh, this one I soldered the first 3 pins as my test. That's good. I wonder if they make soldering guns that are like MIG guns that have a tip that just shoot the wire out. Not that two-handed soldering is all that slow, but one-handed soldering might be de luxury. I don't know. I've never worked in an industrial manufacturer of electronics goods, soft goods, believe it or not. Oh, there's some hiding. Try not to solder my computer. It's a long day here on the soldering farm. Taller desk would be nice. My tall soldering desk behind me is covered in printers making mongoose parts. One of these days I will get it back. Maybe before I do the main control boards, I will switch some things around, reclaim that desk. Although I don't know how good it will be for this amazing soldering stream I have going. Kind of hard to put a camera behind when you're up against a wall, but figure something out. Or just not stream. I'm sure the internet would appreciate that. There you go. Easier this way. Okay, that was last one for a minute. Put these soldered ones aside, and let's open up some new ones. I can do all of what I have today. Should be a few batches of mongooses in there. No. Go back on screen protectors. Be nice and fresh for the customers. Nick says, that looks tedious. Yes. Yes, it is tedious. My whole life is tedious. Uh, However, one of these days this will be very rewarding as I make many, many mongooses in one day because I have done all of this work in preparation. I don't know if I feel like offering them for retail sale uh, after this first batch for a good long time. If I don't need the money, I think I might move on to something else for a few months. Just some more time to design things rather than manufacture stuff until I can hire a couple of kids to do this for me. Kids that are smart enough to solder, but stupid enough that they won't rip me off. Now, after I remove all these anti-static bags, will my shop get hit by lightning? It is a little stormy outside. I think I'm going to compete in the speed bag opening Olympics. I hope there's a gold medal. That's my real skill. It's going to be hard to find, yeah. Yeah, I know. My skill is never going to be appreciated in this world. I'm ahead of my time in the speed bag opening Olympics. This is my real chill weekend where I only am doing 3 things at once during the day, plus a little clerical stuff this afternoon. Tomorrow it might be down to, well, I've got an extra back to make, so maybe 4 things, but okay, here we go. Time to put these things together. I said, put these things together. Another bent pin. Let's put them in a way that I want to work with them. Wonder if real computer designers needed to sit here in their garage putting things together. Can't imagine Steve Wozniak being this silly. Oh, we got a guest. Who do we have? Oh, Heather's here. The add. Let's see this window capture. Hey, Heather.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, medium. uh,
What are you up to today?
I am soldering together the I2C backpacks to the 16-pin OLED displays. Just making sub assemblies as per usual. What are you up to?
Doing some more 3D print and stuff.
Careful, you're gonna
Learning,
get
learning.
yourself into months worth of assembly work one of these days.
I'm not gonna do it
That's what you
after
say now.
our last conversation. I'm only gonna make 4 prototypes, and if I'm not getting good stuff by then, I'm done.
No, Heather, come on. You can chase things down. Besides, I've never gotten a working camera in any less than 7.
Oh, well, this first one, well, actually, this is number 2, got me a pretty good result yesterday. So I think I'm sticking with this result.
Oh yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. And then, so right now I'm testing out, you're going to love it. French, how do you pronounce French? Francois in Canada.
Sure.
You know, he
Laverdure.
said he was, yeah, he said he was listening last time when we said we couldn't do pinholes, 3D printed pinholes, because they'd fill in.
Sure.
And so he messaged me and told me, "Oh yes, you can," and
Yeah.
told me how to do it. So I'm testing out something right now.
Cool. Yeah, I think it's doable, but I don't think it is a good idea. I think you'd get much better results with a can and a drill. But
Yeah.
okay.
Well, that's the thing. I want I'd like some consistent results because in this little camera that I made, the exposure on the top compartment it was like smaller than the other compartments, and I didn't know if there was light bouncing around.
Heather, do you know the difference between precision and accuracy?
No.
Okay. A lot of people who are not engineers wouldn't know this. I think you can get from the 3D printer precision for sure. I don't think you can get accuracy. So what I assume Francois told you to do was like taper the edge of your hole like a knife edge, right? So it's just a very thin layer right around the pinhole and it's tapered down towards it. And then play with the dimension, right? Because at a certain point it just fills in. And so you need to, you know, maybe make a set of test holes that are all like that, increasing by like 0.05 or 0.1 millimeters each time until you find the size that works. I think, that's not going to lead to the roundest or best of holes. But I think if you have your printer dialed in and you're printing them on the plate and your plate is level, you're going to have that imprecise hole maybe exactly on every single one. And so that actually might be a good way to get precision. So the different accuracy is like, okay, this was explained to me like at a shooting range. If you shoot, or if, let's say you throw 10 darts at a target, right? Accuracy is does each one hit the bullseye? And precision is what is the grouping, right? So a lot of people don't care about accuracy. They don't need to hit the bullseye. They just want to hit the same place every time, right? Which for you, maybe, and we could equate this to maybe you don't care about total sharpness or round rendering of out of focus areas. Maybe you care most about hitting the same exposure every time or having like the same quality. So yeah, I think you would get more precision and less accuracy by printing the pinholes. But I'm I've never actually gone down that hole, so you're gonna
Well,
find out.
there's so many things. There, it's like a combination of both those type of things. Like, what do they call it when you do the edge? It's the fill.
Fillet.
I want to say fillet. Yeah, the fillet.
Uh huh.
Make the fillet so it's a little bit wider, but then it's also like how thick does the print need to be in order to be light tight also at the same time.
Uh
If it's
huh.
so thin on the edges. And so what he was saying was you got to take off that elephant foot situation and then it wouldn't fill in. That was
No,
all
that
he was saying.
well, okay. So if you are adjusted correctly, you should never have elephant foot. That is that is
Yeah.
a sign of a bad print. I think.
Yeah. But I
Uh,
was also trying to make a pinhole a 0.12 millimeter size. Is tiny.
yes. I think I think that's maybe not. Yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
you're gonna need some prototypes. What I would
Yeah.
say
Oh,
is
yeah.
maybe it makes sense to, instead of just trying to print a camera with the right pinholes in it, like make yourself a sheet, that has a million holes in it that are differing sizes until you get to the one that is, you know, reasonable for what you're doing.
Well, that's clever. I like that idea.
Well, it's less clever than I've been down that road, like trying to print screw threads, right? You try and print a screw thread in
Oh,
a camera and it doesn't work. And you try and print it in a camera and it doesn't work. And all of a sudden, you've printed cameras for 3 days and nothing works. And then it's like time to go back to the drawing board where you, instead of do that, just print only screw threads in every different size and mark them, and then you can see what
yep.
does work.
I love running tests too.
Yeah, that's where the learning
Well,
happens.
what's your thoughts on? Do they make matte black filament that's
Yes.
PLA?
Yeah. So I like eSun Black PLA Plus. It's about $22 a roll, and it's good.
Oh,
It's not the most
good. That's the
expensive.
one.
It's not the cheapest. I use all sorts of
Yeah.
other accent colors because they're going to be semi-transparent or translucent anyway. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think that is probably where it's at. And my soldering iron has gotten enough scale on it that it will not tin. Let's try grinding it
Hey.
down with a file. I have other tips, but it's going to take me 10 minutes to get to cool
Yeah.
enough to change the tip. I guess I have other soldering irons too, but this is my preference, my favorite one.
That's the sweet one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. What is your favorite tool? I guess it depends on what you're probably making.
Yeah, I was thinking about this the other day. I think my favorite tool is a computer.
Ah,
It's the every tool.
nerd.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, that's fair. Let's see, will it tin? No. Oh, there it
Oh,
goes. Maybe.
I'm gonna use some still wool to clean it off with.
Yeah, I've got this copper wool, but I think it's like maybe chromed steel, and the chrome does the wicking. But
Oh,
I don't know. After a while, particularly soldering boards, you get enough epoxy solder mask on the thing, and it'll never be the same again. It's a sad soldering iron. Yeah, just repels it. Refuses to take. Well, okay. We'll turn that off for a minute. Do you have any other projects that you're thinking about making?
um, not right now with the 3D printer. I've been weaving. I've been doing more loom work.
Uh-huh.
My time's ticking away. I got to get back to work on February 1st, so I'm trying to,
Ooh.
I don't know, have all the fun and with no regrets, but
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I got too many projects wanting to do, but
Hey,
you know,
Heather, can you give me a minute or two to go change this printer? I'll be right back. Or the
yeah, of course.
laser,
Yeah, no,
rather.
I'm going to go check.
Okay, I'll be back. All right, sorry about that. Trying to get that done every 35 minutes. Keep that thing running for
Oh
3 days.
my God. Zing, how many 3D printers you got now? I think
Um,
last time I saw you had what, like 9 or something?
yeah, I was probably up to about 13 back then, and I'm about 25 now. I was actually not
Oh,
changing the
Lord.
printers. I was changing the laser, which is running off a wholesale order for a Brooklyn film camera that's like 4 days worth of cuts, plus maybe a day or two's worth of assembly, uh, depending upon whether or
Oh,
not.
for that black acrylic?
Yeah, exactly. Let's see.
Oh God, I love how laser cutters cut acrylic. It's so sweet.
Yes, yeah, it's very pleasant. But
Yeah.
if you're making one thing generally cool, I am making like 250 things with this order and another one, uh, and each thing is, I guess, two pieces. So I'm cutting
Mm.
500 widgets over the
Oh my
next
God.
couple of days. it's good. I'm very glad to have the work. Um, but it is, I'm just like trying to keep the printers running, making mongooses, trying to keep those things running. Just feel a little like I've had some very productive days, but also feel like, man, I just have a mountain of work to do. Um, which I'm sure everybody gets into here and there. I'll dig myself out at some point.
Well, you're just plugging away, doing what you can do. So, I mean,
Yeah,
you're every day helps.
it
So you
does.
just don't have any time to play with Joe anymore.
Well, I took a day off almost 2 weeks ago to hang out with Joe. We designed a product, which won't see the light of day
Oh, that
until
was
I'm done with this.
it
I
was an 8x10 camera or something, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it was a 4x5 self-developing film back. Like we spent all
That's
day prototyping it, and I think we actually got somewhere. But eventually Joe had to go home, and I needed to get back to work that people had already paid for. Um, and so
yeah.
that's kind of left to the drawing board. But I'm thinking this Tuesday Joe might come over. I got some alcohol markers which I have never used before, and maybe we will just draw without the necessity of making anything from those drawings. The good skills practice, but also not as pressuring in the future.
Alcohol marker.
Yeah, like
What, for like a dry erase board or something?
no, like Copic markers. They're like fancier than
No.
water washable markers. I think architects and designers use them. I did not buy Copic
Yeah,
markers, which are $10 a piece. I bought super markers, which are 25 cents a piece. They're pretty good.
nice.
The cool thing about them is that they give you lots of different colors, but each color is like they give you tones of that color. So why I bought them was I wanted so in engineering sketches traditionally you shade different facing faces of an object to describe a 3D shape, but you don't do it like you would normally shade something. You do it uh, kind of very rigidly, and you do it with like cross hatching or um,
Mm,
sets of parallel lines. It's very tedious and not as easy to read naturally as like an architect or a designer might use markers or like pencil shading. Um, and I think the reason behind that is like engineers went to blueprints, and blueprints were just black or white or blue or white rather. You couldn't reproduce a half tone, and so
yeah.
I have no need for a blueprint machine. I'm going to computer anyway, and so I thought I would like adopt a little bit of the techniques or try them out from the architecture and product design world to make my engineering sketches easier to read. So I don't know. They just came in the mail
Mm.
today. I'm excited about just markering things. I've only made some cartoons so far.
They probably have a nice kind of transparency that you can build up for that shading.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
That's nice.
Yeah, they even came with a blending marker, which I don't know. I might just I bought 80 markers for $20 with shipping,
Hmm.
which is a ridiculous amount of markers. But really, I just need two markers. I need like a dark gray and a light gray, and I'm good. But I was like, I don't know, on a kick.
I know. I know. I I love them art supplies. You know
Yeah,
that the blending marker, you could try to do image transfers with those. I think people use those to do like laser or copier machine transfers,
interesting.
like how you used to in the old days,
Do like a
or
Polaroid
maybe even
transfer.
magazines. Yeah, well, yeah, kind of like when you used to rub lighter fluid on a magazine and you'd rub it really hard and it'd come off as like a Rauschenberg situation.
Interesting. I didn't know about this. Makes sense, right? Because you
Yeah.
have a solvent in a glossy paper and a less glossy paper. Um,
Yep.
interesting.
Kind of fun. It's a printmaker stuff, and we're always trying to figure out how to transfer a drawing onto a plate or a wood block or something like that.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Huh. Yeah, I really have not done very much printmaking. I made a linoleum cut in eighth grade that my mom has hanging on her wall. Uh, I think, but yeah, not. I mean, I remember it being super fun, but I don't really remember anything but like sitting there for a week with like this tiny scoop chisel drawing a gorilla.
Oh, lovely. Huh. I guess that was once the other thing I 3D printed was a printing press. They have an open source
Uh huh.
one for this little thing. Like you can print like, oh, I would say like business card size
Yeah, my
prints
friend
and play.
Josh, who is the steward of the laser cutting area, printed one for my friend Carl, who is an insane artist of sorts, who does not really necessarily understand, but he made Josh make him a little tiny, what do you call it, like a little roller press. It looked like a pasta rolling machine, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Which you can buy these for 25 bucks and convert those into presses pretty easily too.
Interesting. And are you doing it with copper
It's kind of,
plate, or what do you print on it?
yeah. Yeah, you can do copper plate, polymer plate, zinc plate,
Huh. I wonder if you could
holograph.
use
I mean,
an acrylic or a wood plate.
oh yeah, the plexiglass is one of the fun. I love doing like plexiglass dry point
Interesting.
and scribing into that. And boy, if there's some people who are really good at, and they can do like a four color separation with it, and it looks
Interesting.
like a photograph. Pretty amazing.
Man,
It's just
maybe I
that
should try
sound.
this. Oh yeah, but I would do a laser. I have no hand-eye coordination, but I do
Oh,
have a computer.
oh, yeah, just do a raster file
Mm-hmm.
in there and four color separation, really easy. I tried even with a laser cutter. Um, I coated a copper plate with matte black.
Uh-huh. So you could etch
Uh,
into it.
yeah, black spray paint, and then rastered a file into it,
Uh-huh.
and then etched it with ferric, and it worked.
Oh,
It's fussy though because of the little ozone crap that gets in there. You have to use a toothbrush to really get that little, just a little film that the laser cutter puts over top.
uh-huh. Um,
But
so I
yeah,
have a friend who actually builds laser cutters in Brazil, and he told me that you can. So you know how a laser cutter has like an air assist, so like where the laser beam comes out, it's also blowing, which helps the burn and also helps to blow the gunk away. But he's hooked
yeah.
that up to inert shielding gases before, as if he was welding. It allows you to cut some things cleaner. I don't know if that would work in this situation,
Hmm.
or if you'd have to have it very high pressure. I do have a regulator in a gas bottle, although it's empty. But one of these days, I kind of want to play with, nitrogen or argon shielded lasers for cutting other things.
Oh wow. Yeah.
We'll
Well,
see.
the one I use, the laser cutter I use, is at the school where I work, and it has, there's certain things we can't be changing on it. Like
Yeah, that was part of
we
my
have an air
reason for buying
assist,
it.
and
Oh, huh.
yeah. But I keep telling them like the printmaking studio definitely needs 3D printers and some laser cutters, and
Man, that
we'll probably get
seems,
into that soon.
yeah.
My God,
Somebody
look
says
at
get
you! How
myself
many?
a fume extractor. I have a like 1,000 watt fume extractor right now going, pulling everything out the door. I'm not doing it under a hood, however. The laser cutter running has this blower that sounds like a jet engine. I'm sure my neighbors are ready to murder me. But yeah, it changes about a car's worth of air every second in my shop. Makes it very cold in here, but it's nice for soldering.
Yeah, I was wondering how you were doing that because it's like, boy, you can only do that so much and you get a little weaky wacky.
Yeah, well, I started a little wacky, but
Yeah.
yeah. The laser cutter pulls all the air through the room and then out with the laser cutter smoke, and then blows it into my neighbor's yard. It's pretty diffuse, by the way.
I would imagine they'd probably get pissy about the smell. That acrylic when it cuts stinks.
Yeah, it doesn't smell great, nor do I. But by the time it's outside, it's not really the smell. By the time, like, I don't think it smells over at my neighbor's house. I think it's just this jet engine sound that's like. I have it kind of canceled out on my mic. I have some filters applied, but um, it is unpleasant to run all day. Down at QLab, we have a separate room for um, the blower, and it keeps it sound shielded to a degree. I mean, there's always the sound traveling through the pipe, but um, you know,
Yeah. Oh,
good
wow.
times.
Did my student ever reach out to you about being at the Q lab?
I don't think so. Maybe they reached out to QLab and it went to somebody else, though. Did you have a student down here?
Yeah, she's down there, and I think we did a little Facebook introduction, but
Oh
I
yeah,
think
I kind of remember that.
yeah, she was wanting to find a dark room setup situation and all that, and she's really nice, but I think her mom is having health issues, so
Uh-huh.
she's not very on
Yeah,
the ball of stuff.
yeah, I do. I Now that you mention it, I do remember we talked briefly. I don't think I ever showed her around, although somebody may have. Like, QLab is the best deal on darkrooms in Albuquerque. I'm the interim
No,
darkroom steward, but yeah, there's a bunch of people that use it, but it's never overbooked, and it's like I think it's $42 a month right now for unlimited 24 access, and then there's also some chemistry there that people can use, which
that's
maybe
nice.
is like a little high price for a dark room. Maybe it's reasonable, but there's also another 12,500 square feet of other things to get into that are
Yeah.
also included. It's pretty cool. We just got I think it's a 4 or 5 screen, like professional screen printing press for silk screening, which some
Oh,
people did with
nice.
masks and chutzpah during the pandemic. I have seen it while I was in there, with a mask just in and out to move something, but um, I haven't tried printing on it yet. But I'm pretty excited to make some like posters and T-shirts, just not as products, but for fun.
Oh, totally. I love silk screening. Jeez, it's a blast.
Laura has made a few
Our,
silk screens like on our kitchen table. My favorite is she did this pig that has like a hobo stick with sausages on the end of it. It's real good.
awesome. That's funny. Oh goodness, we just got a shit ton of snow here, and finally stopped snowing.
Are you planning on
Getting
doing any
dark.
mountain sports?
No, I'm not a bit. I don't like doing skiing and stuff like that.
Uh huh.
It's hard to be outside in the cold for too long for me because I have an insulin pump,
Oh,
and
geez.
so it can't get wet, can't get hit, can't get cold.
Uh huh.
Kind of. So I like my indoor art
Yeah.
sports better than anything.
Yeah. That's my natural preference as well. I don't think it's
Yeah,
snowing here
totally.
today, but I haven't been outside in a few hours. It is cold, which is unpleasant. Like, no matter how much the heater goes, because the laser cutter is pulling so much air out of the room, like it gets to 40 degrees in here. It's unpleasant.
That's why that makes more sense now because every time I see you, you got like layers of clothes and you look cold. And I thought, you're Albuquerque, dude.
Well,
It
yeah, but
can't be that.
it's 30s today, and I mean, it gets warm in here. I can make it 80 degrees if I want, but I have the door cracked, and like the laser cutter blower is so big, like
Yeah.
it. Oh, somebody asked me to zoom in on the soldering.
Oh,
No problem. I'll move these marks for where I need to solder. Let's see. Rotate. Okay.
oh, you need a manicure.
Yeah, I know. I need new fingers. I got these rapidograph pens, and they were so much cheaper to buy on eBay used, but it just meant a lot of like cleaning ink. And now I have India ink all over my fingers for the last week,
Yeah.
but pretty fun.
Oh, this is a great angle. It's very satisfying.
Oh yeah, welcome to Ethan's soldering ASMR stream.
Are you dreaming about this when you go to bed?
God no.
Uh,
Usually just nightmares. Yeah, I need
no
to
shit. There's a lot.
maybe set this up with a macro lens tomorrow and really get in there, watch each pin.
That'd
Which
be
accounts?
cool.
Yeah. Let's see if this is all the way in. I think this is on this camera. Oh, that's all the way in. Yeah. Okay.
Ooh,
Okay. The next one's gonna be good.
that's some
Yeah.
quality control stuff.
Yeah. I'm getting AI to check my solder joints.
Yeah. You're making your own how it's made episode.
Yeah, kind
Oh
of.
yeah.
But they cut between like different operations every minute. I just stick on this one operation for like 4 hours.
Yeah.
It's uh, yeah. I don't know. I have you seen like you know like they did all of these features in Mister Rogers like in factory tours when we used to make things in America.
Yes.
The Crayon Factory is my absolute favorite. I go back and watch that on YouTube every once in a while.
I gotta write that one down.
Oh
That's a
yeah,
good
Mister
one.
Rogers Crayon Factory, super satisfying. It's kind of, I mean, building machinery like that is something like what I do for work. Never worked at a crayon factory, but I would love to build like crayon making machinery or pencil making machinery. I've
Can you
also,
imagine what that smelled like? Oh my god.
yeah, yeah,
A box of crayon.
probably. Uh, I have watched a lot of pencil factory videos. Ooh, there's also a satisfying video from Bic France on making the Bic M10. They just have these injection molds that must be 100 grand a piece, popping out, 25 pens every second in banks of like 10
Oh
of these things. It's really cool. It's very smooth for how fast it is. It's like
yeah.
almost looks like slow
I
motion.
always think about when you stick your hand in the wrong spot, there's a problem.
Oh yeah.
There was there was one I watched about making puzzles, the factory that makes puzzles.
Uh-huh.
That was awesome to see because they all want to do it all in house, down to everything, instead of sending it off for the box or doing like that. But you see this big print come out and this big die cut come down and hit that puzzle, and then they separate it, they shake it or blow it, and it all goes into that box. It's crazy.
Interesting. That I
They
have
weigh
not
it to make
seen.
sure it doesn't miss a piece.
I was thinking about doing. It's weird that they weigh them to that they can get it that accurate, but of course, I was thinking about laser cutting some puzzle stuff. I don't know what it would be or who would want it. I have enough puzzles.
I know.
Everything I do is a puzzle, but yeah.
I think it's kind of cool that you could on Illustrator, make your own pieces. Like if I was going to do a laser cut, I thought about this for the school for, I don't know, our donors, presents for our donors or something through the art department. You could have a puzzle piece that looks like a paintbrush and a puzzle piece that looks like a hammer and just the different tools that we use to make,
Mm-hmm.
the image. I like more personalized laser cut pieces.
Yeah, I like that idea. I saw a guy who sold this Kickstarter project where he made a laser cut table. It was like a coffee table, and the table was all like laser cut wood puzzle pieces. It's pretty cool. Although I would assume that if I owned such a thing, I would break the table once and then just like always eat on like a corner, or just like put a board over it because I was too lazy. This is a great
Yep.
product.
That's funny.
I've been doing puzzles all day. Laura, get the cardboard box. I need to eat dinner at the couch.
I know those puzzles aren't good for like obsessive compulsive behaviors. We had one at school, and I'd go and I'm just going to be 15 minutes, and be like 2 hours. I was in there doing the puzzle, getting paid. Yeah. It's like, oh, this is probably not good for my productivity, but I get a little obsessed.
Man, are you?
I want to. You know what I want to hear?
What?
I want to hear about that pinhole advent calendar you're thinking about.
Oh yeah. So Joe made a calendar, or not a calendar, a camera that was like a multi-pinhole a while ago. And he was dealing with exactly kind of what you were, which is like, how do you get the pinholes to be all the same exposure? And
Yeah.
you know, his was sort of based on like the idea of a letterpress box, although he built it into a cigar box. And he had thought about using a single pinhole that could detach and attach to different places so that each one would go through the same pinhole and have exactly the same aperture. But he actually did a really good job of drilling them all very precisely. And he shot these like triptych, but with 9 non-ticks, whatever. And he managed not only to get like good exposure, but good pictures that were referencing each other throughout all of them. And he would sort of like go to a place and shoot a main view and then details. They're all different sizes, kind of like your house camera. And I really liked that one. I loved it for its simplicity, but it's um, simple in concept and to make. But I think the pictures came out really good, and it was an interesting and not obvious way to build a camera, or make a print like that. And so I was just thinking about advent calendars a lot because my friend had a Lego Star Wars advent calendar that he was showing what he opened up every day for a month. And so I thought it would be kind of like a good, Christmas present thing, stocking stuffer, or like something you give to somebody on Thanksgiving, and then they build it as a kit and then shoot it over a month, and then develop it on Christmas, which could be really fun or incredibly disappointing.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Well, it could be like a solargram that, it just stays open. Yeah. And then you could just get more and more every day.
That is a good idea. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure people would use it in new and surprising ways. I don't think that I will sell them pre-assembled. So, like I mean, it would just be so expensive if I sat here and like charged people for me to glue things, which I don't like doing, and I don't like doing precisely. But I think I could bang them out in like flat pack kits. Also, they ship so much cheaper if I can flat pack them. And then who knows how people are going to build them, right? Like I could sell them with pinholes or with a couple of drill bits and some soda cans, or you drink your own beer. BYOB.
Yeah.
Pinhole cameras. And then like one of the cool things is like watching how people mod my cameras, or the ones that are open source or DIY kits, how they build them way different from the way I intended, but still cool, sometimes better.
Oh, I kind of I like that idea. I like the flat pack stuff too. I was thinking that'd be a good assignment for these design students that we have at the school to design their own flat packs for whatever it could be.
Yeah.
They just look cool, flat. I love all that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's like a very.
When
Sorry, go ahead.
oh, go ahead, you go ahead.
Oh, I just think it's like a very e-commerce friendly type of thing, right? Like a lot of my cost is shipping, or a lot of the customer's cost is shipping. And if you can design flat pack stuff, it becomes you get to put way more into design and materials and less into shipping.
Yeah. Oh, that's fun. Whenever I do pinhole cans and teach those, I make sure to either use natural light
Uh-huh.
beer or sun kissed. I think that's just funny
Natty
for the
Light is
can.
so disgusting, but oh, college appropriate, I guess.
I know. Yeah, it's just like you got to have something kind of quirky that way. The sun kissed is always good, but their cans are really flimsy compared to like Diet Dr. Pepper. It's a little bit thinner.
Hmm, it's my first reject. Um,
Oh no.
no, it's fine. I'm out like a couple of bucks, but over $40,000 worth of assembly. Some some parts will, that will work. It's just not going to be flush to the mongoose case because I did not solder it perfectly, but it'll be a just fine prototyping unit for the next thing I do with the screen on it.
Man, there you go. Well, maybe I'll go and you can concentrate.
Some great.
And oh, actually, you know what else? I was gonna show you. I
Please.
bought one of those scanner. What are they called? Oh shit, structure scanners.
Like a 3D scanner?
That you put on, yeah, to put on your iPad. Have you ever worked with one of those?
No, but I have been looking into a few like DLP structured light 3D scanners of late. I have a few projects for clients that I can't really talk about, not necessarily camera related, that require me reproducing previous injection molded parts, and owning one of those scanners would save me a bunch of time and money having to send things out for 3D scanning. Have you made any scans with it?
Yeah, I did. Well, let's see. Hang on. Oh, let's see. I did my daughter. Just this was a really low quality one, but my daughter wearing a towel on her head.
Hold on. Let me make you larger here. Go up a little. Oh wow, that is a damn good scan. Interesting.
What was the problem is with those scanners, and you have to use an iPad,
Uh huh.
you have to have room to walk around.
Uh huh.
Let's just go grab Jeff for me, will you? And you have to have a ton of light. And so I just was like, let's just stick extra light on the end of the scanner on the iPad.
Uh huh. Oh no, but then your light is moving around with you.
But yeah, it's moving right around with you. And so it made the scan like, I'd say 200% better. It was
Oh
amazing.
really?
I just used like a $20 little attachment that suctioned onto the back of the iPad, and it just did it because it just needs even lighting.
Interesting. I would have thought that it
And
needed
this,
even but consistent lighting, but I guess the algorithm for point matching is like it doesn't care at this point.
yeah.
Wow.
And so it's easy to get into those cracks, and the undercut's so much easier when you got light
Uh
pushing
huh.
in there.
Let's see.
But yeah, it's super fun. My husband's really into D&D,
Uh huh.
and so I'm scanning his like friends, and they're playing around
Awesome.
with them, and
Hey, do you have access to a
pretty
resin
fun.
printer?
At school, I do, but
Yeah.
I don't think they keep it up good enough. I don't know. It's hard to find the right people to run these
Yeah.
machines, But yeah, resin printer would be the way to go, definitely for these like little models.
Yeah, the detail is so much better. I for a while have been thinking about like how to scan my friends in different places. You know, like can I teach them to scan themselves so I can resin print like action figures of my high school friends?
That's exactly what we're using it for.
Yeah,
Geez. Well, you can just need to scan their face, and you could probably find a body already pre-done.
yeah. Everybody's gonna look like Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, they all want capes, and they all, all that, or the Mandalorian.
I see where you're going with this. Yeah, that would be fun. Um, I watched a few Blender tutorials a while ago, and then I was like, okay, I forced myself to give up on it because if I went any deeper, I would be like 2 months into Blender modeling things
Oh,
for cartoons and just never get any work done.
yeah. Oh my God. That blender thing is intense.
It's
I
great.
it's I've been I bought an iPad, so I want to do it all on the iPad. So I've been using Nomad, and it's as close iPad version to Blender you can get. And what's nice about it is you can use your pen,
Huh.
your iPad pen with it and
Uh-huh.
get really cool results. And so, no, I like the way of running on the iPad than on a computer with a clicker.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Um, I worked for a photographer for a while. We had a Wacom tablet that was great, even almost 20 years ago. I haven't used like an Apple Pencil or any of that business, but I assume it is very good now.
Yeah. It's neat. It's even like by pressure, you can push down and add endpoints for
Hmm.
your vector files and
Oh,
stuff. It's
crazy!
really super fast.
Huh. Yeah.
If only it could just solder
Yeah,
for you, you'd have it done.
then I would be drawing all day. I did do about 10 minutes of drawing this morning before I knew I would be in soldering land all day. But
Oh, that's nice.
yeah, I drew some angry skater kids in cartoons eating ice cream.
Did you ever do skateboarding when you were growing up?
Yeah, sure. I'm too big and fat right now. I break my bones. The last time I rode my skateboard, I was in Madison, Wisconsin, and I woke up and I realized I was late for alternate side of the street parking. So I grabbed my skateboard, ran out the door, like, 30 seconds out of bed. And I'm like half asleep, and I skate down my driveway and I assume up the street. And as soon as I hit the street, my body kept going straight into the street. And then I like limped to go move my car and then spent 3 days like just laying on my couch. Like, oh, I am way too old now to skateboard like that. And so now I use my skateboard just to move my centrifuge around the shop because it's like 200 pounds.
That's a good idea. Little furniture mover.
Yeah.
Well, at least you had time with it. I couldn't skateboard. I was raised on a gravel road, so
Oh,
like
yeah.
roller skating and not, all that fun stuff was out of the question for me.
Well, what about mountain biking or like BMX biking?
I had a 10 speed and I could ride into town a mile and go to my grandpa's house and watch MTV because we lived so far out of town we couldn't even have cable.
That's
So
crazy.
it was weird.
It's a different world, Heather.
I know I'm old.
I don't know that it's old. Like my girlfriend grew up like that. She's, I mean, we're not that far apart in age, but it's just, you know, Laura comes from rural Wisconsin, and it's like we grew up in like on different planets almost.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I remember like if I ever wanted art supplies or anything for that, we had to drive 45 miles to Des Moines to get it. But it was, it made it even more special. But
Yeah, I kind of like Des Moines. Iowa's like a surprisingly beautiful place. I never thought I would like it, but um,
yeah,
when you're living in Wisconsin and like the end of winter, you drive down to Iowa and it's springtime and everything is green. Like makes it a really
Yeah,
kind of special state.
yeah. Where I was raised is the hilliest part, and so a lot of people think Iowa's just flat and cornfields,
No,
but
super hilly.
where I
They
was
do the
raised,
ragbri there.
yeah, yep, they do the rag brine and go right through our little tiny town,
Oh
and
wow.
it was crazy. But yeah, I don't
Um,
know. I was the little girl at the window just dreaming to get out and go to a city.
yeah,
I couldn't wait.
I could see that. I always wanted to go to the country, but I think you know the city got good when I got to be like 6 feet tall and 200 pounds, and my parents let me go wherever. But like
Yeah.
as a 10-year-old, it was just filled with dangers. I used to get mugged all the
Yeah.
time. It's not fun. Um, you know what
Yeah.
town I really loved in Iowa was Sioux City. You ever been out there?
Yeah. What did you like about it?
It's just very beautiful. Like it's up on that river. I forget if it's the Missouri or what, but it's
Yeah.
kind of like the edge of the plains. And then they had a like a Sioux City Technology Museum. I think Gateway
Oh,
Computer or some like old
yeah.
'90s computer thing was made there. It's like a little bit of a boom town in like 1992.
Yeah.
Nothing doing.
Yeah. I think it was. Hey, God damn, good memory. Jeez.
Well, I mean, I didn't do it. The couple of things I remember is like they had good diners. I went to a museum between work that heavily featured Gateway Computer, and then oh, they also had a corn palace there in like the late 1800s, early 1900s, which was like a giant, like a shopping mall made out of corn, which was ridiculous. And
Yeah, the
then
corn palaces. I just for Christmas I bought a book. It was called, what was it? Corn Palaces and Butter Queens. And so and it's the history of the Midwest as to why they had these type of things like the butter cow sculpture, all these traditions. And it was more or less to say, hey, people, come here. We got so much stuff. We can make a whole building out of corn.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
we're so plentiful.
it's wild. I also remember that they had a Coney Island hot dogs. So, I grew up going to Coney Island, and Nathan's hot dogs like played heavily in my life and my grandparents' lives. But we used to eat Russian food out there and $1 beers. And traveling through the Midwest, I have somewhere an archive of photos. I was working on a photo book on Midwestern Coney Island themed hot dog stores. And I had seen them everywhere from like Wisconsin to Oklahoma. There was a really good Coney Island hot dogs in Sioux City, Iowa. That was one of my favorites. But my all-time favorite was one I did not go into, which was a tropical themed Coney Island hot dogs in Stillwater, Oklahoma,
Ooh.
the college town. And just like I I don't know. I think they did not really get what Coney Island was. Um,
Definitely stood out amongst it all. That's for sure. Geez, tropical. Ugh,
yeah.
gross.
Welcome to the islands. Have a hot dog. Uh, yeah,
With pine.
yeah, I didn't get it. All right, so let's count. I've unplugged my iron. Let's see how many of these things I made and how many should have made. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 50. 2, 4, 6, 8, 60, 63. So that'll get me through the first two batches, but I think I am missing 75 of these things. Okay. Back to
Jeez.
AliExpress, see what I ordered, see what they shipped me. Maybe Had a complaint.
Do some yoga.
Yeah.
Stretch your back, do some yoga stuff, man.
Yeah, I'm going to stretch by reloading the laser cutter, checking on my prints. Then maybe I'll do some marker drawings. And tomorrow, I think I can finally start to solder these control boards if I have the will to get out of bed.
Well, it was fun talking to you.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for hanging out, Heather. I appreciate it.
All
Keep
right.
me posted
Talk to you
on
later.
your cameras. See you later. Bye-bye.
I will. And I'm going to rethink accurate and precision.
Yes. All right. Bye.
That's good advice. Bye.